Today is the day we finally get a first look at the Fallout TV show. This is the first time we've been able to see this TV show, at least officially. So yeah, there have been a variety of leaks around the Fallout TV show, and I'll actually talk about a few of them in this video, some of the newer ones to come out. But this picture right here was shared earlier today to commemorate the 25th anniversary of Fallout, and it is the first time Bethesda and Kilter Films have actually let us see something about their upcoming Fallout TV show. The only other time they've talked about this properly in an official capacity was the short trailer, which was before anything was done on the show. But here we're getting an official photo, which likely means this could be the start of the marketing campaign. I wouldn't be shocked if this is a still from an upcoming trailer. Looking at this picture very closely, there are definitely some things to pick apart. The first two things to jump out to me is, of course, there's somebody coming into a vault with the massive vault door opening, as well as we could see a variety of vault dwellers about kind of taking in what is happening here. This is Vault 33, and I think from some of the clues they leave in this picture, you could actually kind of tell what's going on here, as I think this is going to be the moment that at least some of these vault dwellers choose to leave the vault for the first time. We can see this person in the doorway that actually looks like they're leaving. When I first looked at this picture, I thought this was somebody coming in, almost like it was this godly figure entering the vault. But in the Fallout games, you always wear your Pip-Boy on the left arm. This guy's Pip-Boy being on the left arm means he is facing away from us. And as you look at the surroundings, you can start to piece this story together. The guy on this left-hand side looks incredibly shocked at what is happening. The person on the right-hand side almost looks like he has a weapon by his hip, holding some kind of weapon but in a lowered state. And this person with a vault suit with a bit more going on in the neck, to me, seems like it's probably the Overseer. So this is likely going to be the Overseer as well as vault security and some other guy that are just astonished and shocked that somebody is opening the vault door to leave. And off to the left-hand side of the image, you can see some legs of somebody who is knocked out or taken out completely, and it almost looks like this is near a console, likely that same console that opens the vault door. So I wouldn't be shocked if in the Fallout TV show or even in the trailer we see a situation where a bunch of people are in a vault, perhaps with some crazy rules or restrictions as this experiment in the vault is going on. Maybe some people are like, hey, I want out of here, and somebody eventually forces their way out of the vault, and that's what we're seeing happening here. And I think this plotline just broadly makes a ton of sense for the Fallout TV show. Although of course Fallout is incredibly popular, I'm sure this will be a lot of people's first look at this franchise. So getting to showcase the world from the perspective of a vault dweller that is just stepping out into the apocalypse for the very first time is a great way to introduce us as the viewers to this world. The character in the show will be somewhat confused as to what they're seeing, and us, the viewers, will also be kind of confused as to what we're seeing. One aspect that has stood out to me from some of the leaked set photos is the attention to detail just really seems like it's here for the show. Like this just feels like a perfect recreation of the inside of a vault, but also at this entrance scene in the official photo, we could see the rules are literally identical to the rules you could find in vaults in Fallout 4. It's something relatively minor, but I think it really does speak to the broader attention to detail that the showrunners are bringing to the table. Although of course, one of the more interesting and broader takeaways is this is going to be Vault 33, likely a main character in its own right during the Fallout TV show. If we use that loose Fallout rule of thumb, this likely means that the show, or at least this part of the show, will be taking place on the West Coast. Most of the lower numbered Fallout vaults are on the West Coast, while the higher numbered Fallout vaults are on the East Coast. Vault 34, for example, is going to be in the Mojave. You could see it in Fallout New Vegas. Vault 33 has actually appeared in a Fallout game in the past, Fallout Pinball. Does this make Fallout Pinball completely canon? I don't really know. But yeah, Vault 33 is pretty much a blank slate, so there's no real established lore for this one. The creators of the show can really make whatever backstory they want here. And it may not even be on the West Coast, as one of the other pretty interesting things that has come out during all of this is the Twitter account for Kilter Films. The production company for the show has made their location on Twitter Sweetwater Clanton Wasteland, which is pretty interesting. It seems like it's going to be a settlement known as Sweetwater in the Clanton area of the broader wasteland. Or alternatively, there actually are these two places with Clanton, Alabama and Sweetwater, Tennessee that are just 4 hours apart from each other. Perhaps this is a clue as to one of the broader locations the show will be taking place in. But then there's also that other thing where there's a whole other vault. So as I mentioned earlier, there have been a bunch of set photos to leak online around the Fallout TV show. This is pretty common. Obviously, as you're filming a TV show, not everything can be kept indoors with some of these sets. There's some very public filming locations like in the dump Staten Island, but some of the photos to leak were actually showcasing another vault, but not this one, as there are a ton of pictures of a more destroyed looking Vault 32. So unless there was some last minute change, it seems like the Fallout TV show will have both Vault 32 and Vault 33, which definitely feels like it has to be a plot point, right? Like perhaps there was an experiment going on in Vault 32 and then a different version of that experiment in Vault 33, or families split apart and half of them getting sent to Vault 32 and the other half to Vault 33. That could be a pretty interesting storyline. The Vault 32 photos in particular look like something went on. You can see a bunch of exercise equipment thrown around, a bunch of dead crops. And this could be an indication that whatever the experiment that was going on in this vault ended badly, or just not with anyone actually surviving. But either way, at this point, a ton of set photos have come out, giving us some ideas as to what's to come here. As I mentioned earlier, we had a ton of photos of the Super Duper Mart on Staten Island. It definitely looks really cool, although you've probably seen these already. Not nearly as well covered is this new settlement, what may be known as the town of Philly, spelt with an F, not a PH. This looks awesome, and like it's straight out of Fallout. I mean, this really just looks like it's going to be Megaton brought to life. I don't think it necessarily is Megaton. I think it's just a city or a little town that looks quite similar to Megaton in a thrown together nature. On the container wall that protects this settlement, you can actually see Robco written on one of the containers, along with a bunch of other real world companies. And from some of the other photos, we could see things like power armor that actually looks like it may be a Brotherhood of Steel set of power armor, but also some people that look like they could be Enclave members along with scientists, and really a ton of pictures of vault things, whether it be people in vault suits, vault interiors themselves. Seems like vaults could end up being a pretty prominent aspect of this show, at least early on, which may be supported by this IMDb description of the first episode, which says, as the Brotherhood of Steel invade the Vault City, it is the job of Mike and Elizabeth to rescue the citizens. So now, to be honest, IMDb descriptions are kind of hit or miss. This could be real, but in all likelihood, it's probably not real. At the very least, I would take it with a massive grain of salt. But either way, we got our first look at the Fallout TV show right now, and I gotta say, I am incredibly excited. I really hope this marks the start of a bit of a marketing cycle. Hopefully we get a trailer in the next couple of months, or even in the next couple of weeks. That'd be awesome. We still don't necessarily know when exactly this show is coming out, but a 2023 release date is definitely looking promising, and I'm pretty hopeful for what they could do with this one. I think they could tell some pretty interesting stories, and I feel like based off what we've been seeing with a lot of these set photos, we could see a bunch of different stories told at the same time. Something the showrunners here have liked to do in other series like Westworld is you basically follow different groups of characters as they go and do stuff, and then in the finale or bigger points in the show, all of those characters come together. Something happens that brings them all together. I could see a formula like that actually working really well in the Fallout TV show. So you could see different parts of the wasteland. You'll see some vault dwellers, maybe you'll see some Brotherhood of Steel, and then maybe even just some raiders. And it could take you to different locations. We've seen some filming all over the US, whether it be in Brooklyn, but then also a ton of stuff being done in vaults and even what look like military bases. Either way, I am very excited for this show. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. But with that, I thank you all again for watching, and I hope to see you all next time. Later.